The Russian occupation army has recorded another case of so-called friendly fire. The Russian armed forces hit their own positions with a missile while trying to attack Sumy. The Russian military captured the aftermath of this attack on video. Look, it flew over our heads. It was flying towards Sumy, and it hit us. In short, our missile went off. The Russian military man said. He specified that the strike had scared them a lot. It is unknown whether the Russian armed forces suffered any losses during this attack. It should be noted that Russian missiles and aerial bombs regularly fall on cities and villages of the Russian Federation during strikes on Ukraine. Russian authorities are silent about the unscheduled descents that occur. Experts attribute these incidents to the low quality of Russian weapons. There was a lot of different information in open sources. For example, radio intercepts revealed the Russians complained about the shells, their non-detonation, large dispersion, and even shell bursts in gun barrels. Russians have a lot of them. The Russians have a shortage of artillery ammunition in certain areas, and the Ukrainian military can feel it when they receive new supplies of ammunition. The weight of international sanctions and the demands of war have exposed and intensified existing shortcomings in Russia's military-industrial base. Russia is currently struggling to build genuinely new and technologically advanced systems. Instead, it is relying on Soviet-era legacy systems and research. It is also heavily dependent on third-party suppliers to replace essential Western-made components, with important substitutions and domestic production failing to meet requirements. Despite Russia's record levels of military spending, research shows that the current state of its military industry is one of regression, contrary to what the Kremlin would have the world believe. Production will likely have to be simplified and slowed over the coming years, while Russia will be forced to accept reduced quality of outputs and will suffer from innovation stagnation in its technological research and development. Earlier, media reported that since the beginning of the year, the Russian army has dropped more than 100 cabs on its own territory. The systematic falls of Russian aerospace forces' aerial bombs demonstrate the technological backwardness of the Russian army and create a constant threat to residents of Russia's border regions and the population of occupied Ukrainian lands.
The Israeli military said it razed another high-rise building in Gaza City on Sunday, shortly after military spokesperson Avichai Adri ordered the evacuation of people from Al Roya Tower, a 7-story building in a southern Gaza City neighborhood, and from nearby tents. According to Associated Press, it's the third Gaza City high-rise leveled in as many days as Israel ramps up its offensive to take control of what it portrays as the last remaining Hamas stronghold, urging Palestinians to flee parts of Gaza City for a designated humanitarian zone in the territory's south. Israel said the building targeted on Sunday had been used by Hamas for military and intelligence-gathering activities. Hamas denied those accusations, calling it a false pretext meant to justify bombing residential blocks. It was unclear how many people had been killed or wounded in the attack. A drone launched from Yemen by the Houthi militant group hit Israel's southern airport, closing the airspace over southern Israel and halting flights, the Israeli military said Sunday. According to Associated Press, Israel said the Houthis launched multiple drones, some of which were intercepted outside of Israel. At least one hit the passenger hall of the Ramon International Airport near the southern Israeli city of Eilat, according to the Israel Airports Authority. In May, a Houthi missile hit near Israel's main airport, injuring 4 people lightly and causing many airlines to cancel their flights to Israel for months. Israel later struck and destroyed the main airport in the rebel-held Yemeni capital of Sana'a. One person was lightly injured at the airport from shrapnel as a result of the drone, according to Israel's Rescue Services Magen David Adam. Nasruddin Amr, deputy head of the Houthi media office, hailed the attack on social media, calling it a unique, qualitative military operation. Enemy airports are unsafe, and foreigners must leave them for their own safety, he wrote. Other sensitive targets are under fire. Sunday's attack came 2 weeks after an Israeli strike on Sana'a, the rebel-held capital of Yemen, killed the prime minister of the Houthi government, along with many of his cabinet. Prime Minister Ahmed al-Rahawi was the most senior Houthi official killed in the Israeli-US campaign against the Iranian-backed rebels. Following al-Rahawi's killing, the rebels vowed to escalate their attacks against Israel as well as on vessels navigating through a crucial Red Sea shipping route off Yemen. In their recent attacks, the rebels launched projectiles daily, in some cases multiple times per day, and also began using cluster munitions in the missile attacks on Israel. Cluster munitions open up with smaller explosives that can be harder to intercept, raising the chances of getting through Israel's air defense system. The Ramon Airport opened in 2019 and is located some 19 kilometers from the resort city of Eilat on Israel's southern tip. It serves both domestic and international flights but is much smaller than Israel's main airport, Ben Gurion Airport, in central Israel.